everyone, and welcome back to the triumphant return of New Comic Book Late Night. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Curious Lo.
And tonight, Lo and I are bringing back some comic reviews for you. We're going to be talking about our favorite 3 books from last week. And we've not been at this for a couple of weeks, and a whole bunch of stuff, a big slew of things came out before that. We would have had a giant mega week. Lo, the week we talked about how our combined money would have bought steak dinners, we didn't even get to talk about that week.
I know. Yeah, it ended up the stack of comics I have from the past 3 weeks is huge because all 3 weeks were pretty big for me. So
yeah, and if you're like me, this show helps me make sure to keep up and read everything. If I'm not doing this show, I'll get behind.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I didn't read anything until yesterday and today from the last 3 weeks because my life just gets busy, and then I'm like, okay, I need to like sit down, and when it's a weekly thing, just every Monday I go get my pull list and I read, because I typically have Mondays off, and I just read all my comics on Monday, and then I'm good to go and everything's fresh in my mind and I'm ready for Comic Book Late Night. But when we go 3 weeks without doing it, that doesn't happen.
Well, there were a couple things I was really excited to read, so I did run to the store and make sure I got some stuff read, but I'm not totally caught up, but I'm close. And like I have lately, I've got like 3 books from this week that are from things that I'm not caught up on from months and months ago. I'm not caught up on Star Wars or Darth Vader. Darth Vader's almost over. We've only got a couple months left with that, and I should try to catch up so that I can at least talk about the last issue of that. But as I keep talking about, eventually, finally, getting to full-blown comic vaults on those. So we'll try to do that in the not-too-distant future. I want to let everybody know that Lo and I, by the way, if you're watching live, thanks for being here. Good to see you. And we will have open forum at the end, so stick around for that. We'll talk to you for 10 to 15 minutes about anything you guys want to talk about within reason. And but what I wanted to mention is today is Tuesday. If you're not looking at a calendar and you don't keep track of the days, it's Tuesday. And usually we do the show on Mondays, and we do plan to continue on doing the show on Mondays. But because of Killing Joke last night and stuff, I wasn't able to do the show. So I wanted to mention that Lo and I will be back next Monday as usual with New Comic Late Night, and we will be starting at our new time as we are this evening, 10 p.m. Central Time. So a couple hours earlier for excuse me, and that makes it a little bit easier for me, although I clearly am not any less coherent than normal. So anyway, but 10 o'clock is the new time. That's 8 o'clock for Lo. Lo can't even call it late night.
It's comic book evening. So classy.
That's right. Well, Lo, why don't we go ahead and get started with our number 3s from last week? What was your 3rd favorite comic book that you read from last week?
My 3rd favorite was Justice League #1, the new Rebirth title. We didn't get to talk about the Justice League Rebirth #1, but this is actually Justice League #1, not Justice League Rebirth #1, because they can't make these things coherent. No, that would be too easy. But yeah, I really liked this. Obviously, it's the start, so it's hard to tell where things are going to go. I thought they took an interesting route with kind of taking powers away from people, maybe. Like, it's sort of hard to tell what's going on. This had nothing to do with the comic, but I loved the giant Snickers ad in the middle. It was like 4 pages long.
I was going to also bring up the giant... I'll also talk about the giant Snickers ad later. I love that and hate it all at the same time.
Exactly. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I turned the page and it was still there. Like, oh my goodness. I want to do an entire episode of commercials and comics on just that ad. And it had like, it was such just like huge, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Just like huge pictures, like the entire page with like 3 little speech bubbles. And Diana just holding a Snickers bar.
It's a 4-page Snickers ad where they stop Doomsday by giving him a Snickers.
And it turns out to be Wonder Woman. That's also in there.
Did it occur to you? Right? And did it occur to you that the reason they went with Doomsday, besides the fact that he's popular in the comics right now and that he's in comics right now, is that when you look at a bite taken out of a Snickers, it looks like it has Doomsday bones in it? That's why they did that.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's so funny. Anyways, the actual comic that was happening in here and not the ads. I liked it. This is now officially the second Justice League title I have read. Whoa, that's like the first time that has happened to me. Like, actually been reading long enough to start reading another title of the same like team or character.
It's a good. So point. So you're on a new numbering of a book you've been. I didn't realize you'd been reading Justice League, or I forgot.
Yeah, I was reading the Brian Hitch book, and I think I'm still in. I don't think that one has stopped, because I think I just got an issue like a week or two ago, unless that was the last one. I don't know. It's hard to keep up.
That should be over.
Yeah.
We've ended all that stuff. Rebirth started all the numbers over.
But I think maybe he's writing one of the Justice League books or something. Something's happening with Brian Hitch. I don't remember. Is he writing this one? Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, that's why he's writing this one.
Yeah, that'd be the reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. It's very much just sort of like putting them all in like a status quo of like something crazy is happening and everyone is like chanting how their powers belong to them and like it's our light, it's our words, like all these kind of spooky things. I don't know. It's a good setup for potentially awesome things. Again, first issue, time will tell, but I liked it. What was your number 3?
Well, good to know. I tried the Rebirth issue and did not care for that at all, but I may read that now on your recommendation. I mean, there was some cool stuff in that. I just didn't like his dialogue writing even a little bit. All right, my number 3 this time, and of course this has been on my list before, but got to give it again to Power Rangers. Power Rangers number 5. This goes back a month before Tommy got his powers. We were meandering a little bit in this book, but I thought part of the reason I'm putting this on my list because this is a really good one-and-done issue. If you just want to try this book to get a sense of the freaking awesome art in this and what Kyle Higgins is doing with the writing, go ahead and pick this up and read it, especially if you know anything about Power Rangers at all. I think it's anything just to read all on its lonesome. But this goes back to before Tommy was around and got the Green Ranger's powers, and it's Rita Repulsa trying to give those powers to Zach, and the whole thing is kind of a morality play about jealousy and about not letting your emotions drive you, and even learning how to like feel what you feel without immediately acting on it. And so what happens is Zach manages to save Jason in a fight where he would have totally gotten trampled by a monster if it weren't for something that he did. And everybody around chants Red Ranger. I almost said the Red Ranger's name, but just Red Ranger because they don't actually know his name, so everybody just calls them by their colors. And they chant the Red Ranger's name, and of course Zach is feeling a little bit jealous because the fight was won and his friend was saved because of him. And then manipulate him, and very fairy tale stuff the way this book is written. And of course that show was very influenced by fairy tales, and it really kind of reads that way. It's got a very like any witch in a fairy tale you've ever seen. That's Rita Repulsa. And so she tries to go to Zach, and as you might imagine, he ultimately ends up not taking that, but he was tempted. And once again, just doing a little bit more real character dimension, characters, and telling some actual stories and some good lessons for kids, even though this feels like it's as much for those of us that grew up with it as it is for children. But I think kids really should be reading this book. And a lot of really awesome art as always, especially some fun Megazord stuff that we haven't gotten before. Something else that I thought was really fun is we're getting a lot more in this with monsters than we have in that show, or than we often did in that show. Rita, or rather I guess Finster, creates a monster out of the Vitruvian Man, and the Vitruvian Man goes around smashing things and just throws out random arbitrary Leonardo quotes. And I think that is absolutely hilarious. And it just every time he smashes something, he says something Leonardo da Vinci said. And I thought that was pretty great. But anyway, that's my number 3. What is your number 2, Lo?
My number 2 is, and I think this has made it on every time that an issue of this has come out so far, is Scooby Apocalypse number 3. I am still loving this book. It's so much fun. The art is gorgeous. It's a little violent. I was just looking at the cover expecting it. It's rated T, and I'm sort of surprised that like something like Scooby-Doo would be rated that way, but
that is,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's a little
It's
weird.
all about nostalgia these days. It's all just, everything's for us adults. We never grew up, and so everything's for us. Yeah.
But honestly, it's working so well. Like, this issue picked up right where we left off in issue 2, and the gang is stuck in the mystery machine, and there are monsters everywhere. And I really don't know how they would pull the kind of classic, like, it's a person in a mask. Like, this definitely seems to be going down the route of these are real monsters caused by a virus, like that sort of a thing, because they're like shooting people in the head in this. There's like real danger going on for the characters, and like people proposing to each other. Like, it's a ride, but it's so much fun. And just flip to any page and it's just like a full spread of gorgeous color and action and so much fun. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it, and it's a big page turner for me. So again, I'm still recommending it. Hopefully you can still find issues if you are so inclined to go back and watch it, but it's very fun. I'm quite enjoying it. What about you, Cap? What's your number 2?
I've never been a big Scooby-Doo fan, and so I wouldn't have thought to read that, but I'm hearing so many good things about that, and really about all of that Hanna-Barbera stuff that they're doing. I keep hearing good things about Wacky Races and lukewarm and back and forth on Flintstones. Did you read that?
I did. Flintstones I'll actually talk about in a minute here. So
okay,
it's
good.
One of my it's one of my honorable mentions from a previous week. So
looking forward to hearing you talk about that, because I heard people really disappointed with that.
I love
so
it.
That'll be interesting. Okay, all right, cool. Because I was a little curious. To look at that one too. But anyway, okay, my number 2 this time is, and I don't know where this is going, but I enjoyed this first issue. My number 2 is Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 1. Birds of Prey is a thing that I check in and out of every now and again. I've never really read an entire run of this because I usually lose interest somewhere. But I thought the idea for this first arc sounded really intriguing, and it is designed to do what a lot of this rebirth stuff is, which is go back to the well and try to make things new again. You know, I've been enjoying that for nostalgia things, but hoping eventually, of course, we kind of start going our own way and not relying entirely on that. But this is all about somebody who has decided to take on the mantle of Oracle, and of course, Barbara Gordon has now for several years been Batgirl again, and has not been Oracle. And of course, she got her legs back right at the beginning of 52. And now somebody's pretending to be Oracle, and not just using that name, but using all of her old, or a lot of her old code. And of course, she can tell the difference, but nobody else can. So she's doing whoever this is. I'm assuming it's a lady. I guess I don't know. But this new Oracle is kind of tarnishing her name, the old mantle, and of course Barbara is ticked off about that. So she's trying to bring the Birds of Prey back together again in order to stop this. And apparently, because I didn't read much of it at all, the previous Birds of Prey, at least with characters that usually aren't together. Because I guess at the beginning of 52, we had some other random characters. I think Hawk and Dove were both on the Birds of Prey for a while, if memory serves. But anyway, so you've got Batgirl, and you've got and you've got Dinah Lance, Black Canary, and then finally they are for the first time in this 52 and then now post 52 continuity, bringing in the Huntress. And I'm liking their kind of new and old dynamic with their first all coming together, and just kind of getting the team back together for the first, but for those of us that know Birds of Prey, the 11 billionth time. And I don't know, the art in this is a little bit hit and miss for me. I think sometimes in costume, Barbara's face is a little bit cartoony and strange, but it doesn't look like that when she's not wearing her costume. So I'm not real sure what that. It's weird. I haven't had this a lot. I don't love the art in this in the action stuff, but I like it during downtime. That's a little strange. I should mention who's writing and drawing on this book. This is Julie Benson and Shauna Benson. I think the writing is pretty good. The dialogue and stuff is pretty spot on. And Claire Rowe is the artist. Who I don't know if she was. Because I wasn't reading Batgirl before. I forget who the previous artist was because I wasn't looking at that book. But I'm not immediately familiar with her. But anyway, all in all, I thought this was a really good start. A lot of recap, a lot of catching you up and stuff. But it kind of gives you a sense of what the vibe of this book is going to be. We're back in the clock tower. All the fun trappings of what I love about Birds of Prey are back. And so I'm going to give this at least 2 issues because I want to love it. Birds of Prey is one of my favorite things. So I am. It's always been a hit and miss thing, but conceptually, I've always really liked it. Nice. Lo, did you happen to read that?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. What is your number one? What is your number one?
My number one is Spider-Man Deadpool number 7. This was kind of a filler issue, and they even address it right in the beginning of the book that everybody must be wondering what happened after the last issue, but too bad, we're going to get a throwback issue, which is printed in the art style of actually being like the old school like newsprint, like even the coloring behind the panel is like newsprint style.
But it's always cool.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it was all about the first time that Spider-Man and Deadpool met each other, and they framed this as like a lost issue. You know, all this stuff about how this was like, oh, we're giving you something from the past, but like obviously joking. And it's funny to have kind of old school Spidey saying all of his like inner monologue stuff while Deadpool still just acts like Deadpool. So this was fun. I mean, you guys all know me. I like things that are fun and quirky and ridiculous, and this definitely checks those boxes. It has it does nothing for the overall plot of this book, but that's okay with me. It was just a fun little one-off. So you could totally pick up just this issue and be completely fine. They have a little bit of political commentary in here. It's obvious that they're trying to do some stuff in here. So if you are offended by politics, maybe don't pick this up because it's definitely a little heavy-handed in here. But overall, it was still really fun, just kind of Deadpool and Spidey going at it to try and stop the assassination of a presidential candidate. So kind of fun, kind of like in the know about now. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Spider-Man Deadpool number 7. What about you?
Yeah, I bought 6. And I haven't been reading that book, but I bought 6 because I heard that it was going to have a lot of silly satire about current superhero movies and stuff. And boy, I don't know if you've read that yet. That did not disappoint. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah. No, that was a good one.
Especially at the end, because it's Deadpool's supposed to get his own movie, and then at the end it just turns into BVS, and that was pretty hilarious. My number one this week, to probably nobody's surprise, although this is a book that I was lukewarm at the beginning, and more and more I'm just starting to really, really love. This is Batman number 3. This is Tom King's Batman. And I put this at the front of my list this week because I am so interested in this dynamic between these new superheroes in Gotham and just how much I am enjoying them and how fresh and kind of refreshing they are. We're starting to get some backstory about them in this issue, and we're learning that they were actually kind of trying to become heroes before this, or before they got their powers. And that's always a really cool thing where you have characters where you can actually answer the question, would this person be trying to save people and put themselves away if they didn't have superpowers? And with the answer with these guys is, and them was saved by Batman at one point, and in exactly the same situation as Bruce Wayne was in when he was a child, and that's the reason that he's inspired to become Gotham, the hero Gotham, and just this whole notion of these see themselves as representations of what they want the city to be, so they call themselves Gotham. Is a really cool idea, and just a lot of really great action and also downtime stuff in this issue. But this is the freshest Batman's been in a long time, I think, and the most full and just fun, honestly, and I really like this. It's I don't know. King is getting us back to more of what I like in Batman, and that's but also Batman having to deal with people with superpowers that aren't already established and who need him to set them in the right direction is really cool and kind of feels kind of fresh. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Okay, we should mention, and I don't know if we had any earlier that you wrote down because we totally forgot about this, but we are still giving away codes. I don't have all this time, but we are still giving away codes to folks that to the first person who guesses something that we will mention that we're excited to read for this coming week. So if you've not written those down yet, go ahead and do that, and we will reveal the winner a little bit later. And now we're going to go on to some extra books before we do cover the week. And Lo, why don't you just run down a few other books that you read either this week or in previous weeks. I'm only going to do, I have a bunch of books this week. I'm going to talk about 2 or 3 more for this week from previous weeks that I just want to highlight and make sure people know about.
Same. Yeah, I think all of these are from previous weeks. Just a couple ones I read that I wanted to mention. And I already mentioned a little bit earlier that Flintstones #1 was one that I really liked. It's very just sort of like snapshot. It doesn't seem like this will have any sort of overarching plot, which I'm totally okay with if that is the way that they decide to go, because that's sort of in tune with the cartoon. This specific issue involved going over to a hot tub party at Mr. Slate's house, and Wilma getting some art in an art gallery, and it was cave paintings, and that was all very funny. And it was bookended by a natural history museum, like caveman that was like frozen in ice. And the sort of plot of this was how that specific caveman got frozen in ice at Mr. Slate's hot tub party. So that was kind of fun. It's mostly just sort of introducing us to this art style and the world of Bedrock. It was just a little bit of Barney in there. They didn't really get a lot of Barney, but it was mostly Fred and Wilma. But yeah, very fun. I love the art style. It's very different from the art style of the actual cartoon, and it keeps that art style from the cover throughout. I'm trying to find a good spread here. Keeps that art style throughout. Very different, sort of like what I was talking about with the Scooby-Doo one, that they're just going a really different route than trying to stick specifically to that art from the cartoon. But I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. This is only issue 1, but I've been loving Future Quest and I've been loving Scooby-Doo, so I'm sure Flintstones will continue to wow me. I have high expectations. I also had Moon Knight #4, just needed to mention it because it's still a book that I'm loving. We finally have a little bit more info, and I am starting to lead towards the direction of this actually being like he wasn't actually in an insane asylum and he is Moon Knight, although the very last panel of this, the twist at the end of this issue, definitely kind of made me take pause and be like, okay, maybe he is crazy, but time will tell. I think we have like 2 issues left of this, or 1 issue left. So we're winding down on this book. Still loving it, still thinking it's great. Gwenpool, what do I need to say about Gwenpool? I love her. She my girl. She's basically me, except I'm not homicidal, I promise. But everything else.
She barely is.
I love her so much. I love Gwenpool. So that's all I have to say about that book. Paper Girls #7, also very fun. Learning more about it. We had a revelation about one of the other girls and their future, because obviously our main girl has met herself in the future, and another girl got to find out some actually pretty sad news about stuff that has happened since she has been gone from the past. So kind of interesting. I don't want to spoil it because I think it was a pretty good twist at the very end of this issue. If you have been reading Paper Girls on my recommendation, good job. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Both Cap and I are loving this book. You need to read it. And Black Road, I keep mentioning it. It's a weird book. I really like it. It's very literary. Like there's a lot of just like chunks of description. And I think that this probably isn't a book for everybody, but it kind of plays to my love of like fantasy and like descriptive stuff, and they've got a lot of that in this book. It's not just dialogue that you're seeing, so I kind of love it, but I don't think it's for everybody. If you're the type of person that loves epic fantasy, I think you might like this, and the art's pretty interesting, but if not, maybe stay away. All right, those were my books. What about you, Cap?
Well, I will. I'm glad you brought up a couple that I read too that I wasn't even going to mention. But yes, Paper Girls is amazing, and Gwenpool getting into some more plotty stuff moving forward, figuring out what her status quo is going to be moving along, and I don't know, all the stuff with her is really fun. And MODOK cracks me up every time he's in anything. I feel like I'm starting to become almost a fan of MODOK. I never cared about him before, but he keeps showing up in books I happen to be reading. So yeah, anyway, that is a book. I'll say it again that there's no, I would not have thought there would be any good reason that I would love that book and it would be toward my top every time. But oh my God, it's so funny and really weirdly thoughtful. Okay, other stuff I read this week. Spider-Man number 6, Bendis' Spider-Man, still pretty slow going, but really interesting and wonderfully character-driven. I'm really liking this dynamic with Miles and Gank and Fabio Goldballs all rooming together and dealing with the fallout of kind of the fall, I guess, just friendship fallout. I mean, this is a really intimate book right now, where it's very much about the friendship dramas just between these friends more than it is about the big superhero stuff. And I love it when Bendis can make me really care about all that stuff and will drag me for 4 or 5 issues with mostly that stuff, and then all of a sudden have a big bombshell with a superhero thing, and I go, oh yeah, that's right, we're reading an action book. And I care so much about these people that totally works for me, and I don't mind it much of the time. Like I said before, Goldballs was my favorite new X-Man that he created during his run, so it's really great to see him here. And this seems to be just kind of a collection of Bendis characters that are all showing up and doing things together. We've got Jessica Jones in here, who is who has been hired as a private investigator to follow around Miles, and that's really fun. So anyway, that book is slow and decompressed, but I really like it. Superman number 3, I wasn't super impressed with this time. Rather, this book. This is Tomasi. This we're just stretching things out too much because we're double shipping. This is a thing I've been talking about a little bit here and there. Took too many pages to get past the initial Superman Eradicator fight. It's fun to see him dealing with Eradicator, but you know, you knew where this was going to go. Eradicator is not there, or okay, I'll give it this. It goes to a place I didn't expect it to, but it still feels like Superman's a little bit out of character and just immediately going to town on him. Like, okay, yes, you know what dealing with Eradicator was like in your universe, but you know you're in a different universe. You don't know for sure that he's going to be exactly the same thing. Why are you just punching at him and going to town just because he's in the Fortress of Solitude? You know that guy came from the Fortress the first time around. So, I don't know, we really stretched things just to have a big giant fight, just so we don't have to tell too much story in one issue because we're double shipping, and so Tomasi needs the time to be able to write 40 pages instead of just 20 in a month. But the twist, the big surprise with Eradicator was really interesting. And then toward the end, I'll just spoil this real quick because I just can't believe this happened. I'm not even going to elaborate. I'm just going to say Crypto the Superdog gets eaten. Yeah, that happens. Crypto gets eaten. Okay, and then Green Lanterns number 3. This is a book that I'm reading solely because of Red Lanterns, and am enjoying the Red Lantern stuff. This is really sad for Bleez. She, in the middle of this, manages to finally. It's so funny. We always talk about this with the Red Lanterns. You will always have the rage. You'll never lose the ring, and then constantly Red Lanterns manage to be able to get around that, and there's a million loopholes, and we always pretend like it's an extenuating circumstance every single time. But Bleeze, for a minute, gets to not be a Red Lantern and gets lucid again, because when you're a Red Lantern, you get kind of taken over, and you're not really yourself anymore. And we get to see a glimpse of what she used to be, and she ends up turning back into a Red Lantern really again, and that whole thing is really. These two new Green Lanterns who are newbies and very inexperienced and not sure what they're doing and super insecure with themselves are starting to grow on me a little bit, but they also can sometimes be kind of irritating. So I'm waiting for them to really come into their own. And we're new at this and don't know what we're doing is starting to wear a little bit thin, but we'll see how it goes moving forward. And stuff from previous weeks I wanted to mention real quick. Oh, let me say, I am getting the Ultimates. Folks have been asking me about this book, and we're already up to 9. I started reading this book finally. I've been buying it and saving it back, around reading it. On the break I just took, I read the first 3 or 4 issues. I love this book, at least what I've read of it so far. I think the cosmic concept is fantastic and fascinating. I love all the mythology and the technobabble stuff. And just this idea that like the name makes sense. That's exciting to me. That we're not in the Ultimate Universe anymore, but they are the Ultimates because they're big problem solvers, and they're trying to solve these big, crazy ultimate problems. And the first problem they solve is Galactus. Like, where do you go from there, right? We solved Galactus. He no longer has to eat planets anymore, and the whole he's a member of the team thing ends up making perfect sense. And anyway, so I just want to mention that so far what I've read of this I've really liked, and I'm excited to read more of it. Other books from previous weeks, I'm just going to mention a couple of number 1s. Sonic Mega Drive number 1 was really fun. I don't have a lot to say about this. I'm surprised that it is turning into a monthly, and that this was just a one-shot, and then it's getting a monthly. But I had a lot of fun to get to read really, really old school Sonic and looking like the Genesis days. So I'm excited about that. New Superman number 1 might be my favorite of Rebirth. So God, this is good. Very much kind of a cross between Spider-Man and Superman, where you've got this kid who is entirely sympathetic, but does a lot of bad stuff to pay, and you totally understand where that's coming from. And well, I mean, he's kind of a bully at the beginning. He does bad things to a kid, and I really like that he's not just bullying this kid because what he looks like or whatever, or because he's an outcast. It's directed to what happened to his parents or mother. I forget. It's been a couple weeks since I've read this, but he is very much the last person on Earth would make for a good superhero, and it's one of those he's going to get powers and learn how to be a better person by being a hero kind of stories. And he's one of these guys that with Spider-Man, he gets powers and immediately exploit. He's heralded a hero for something he does, and he tries to exploit that, and he's learning. Anyway, for that book, it's a lot done in that first issue. Powerpuff Girls number 1, the idea comic based on the new show. We've got Derek Charm back on Powerpuff Girls, which really excites me, and it's really interesting for this new show. Ability, he's finding a lot of great the style and ideas and stuff new. The new mainstay stuff, like the destruction and the power in this too. But what's more of a throwback to the old show? So a new show, but still love Powerpuff Girls. I would give what is that new show because it is of both of those things, and it comes a little bit farther into the style and its action and stuff. But really pretty art. I'll back on Powerpuff Girls, and I hope he stays on it. Those are all the things I wanted to talk about, Lo. And so now let's go to cover of the week. Just stuff from this.
Just this week? I can't remember. I think this was 2 weeks ago. Dang it. Wait.
Well, that's fine.
I'll just go with this one, though, because it's the one I had picked out. It is Han Solo #2. I really, really liked it. Mostly just because it shows a dead person on a table, and Han's just like, what? Yeah, I killed a person. Man, I should have not worn my shawarma shirt and worn my Burr Shot First shirt, because that's the closest thing I have to a Han Shot First shirt, and it would have been all together and like cohesive. I don't know. I really liked this cover. That's what I have to say about that. Go ahead, Cap.
Apparently, I was skipping.
You were, and you are still
earlier,
a
so
little
thing I said started. Oh, good.
Yeah, we can sort of hear what you're saying. I mean, if they're getting the same thing that I am, we can sort of hear what you're saying, but it'll sort of like go for a second, and then like it'll like catch up really quickly. If that makes sense, you'll like pause, and then we'll hear like and then you'll like hear you for a second. So I say just keep trying. We're mostly getting the gist of what you're saying. It's just people were saying that you're scatting, so it works, or that you're Ultron.
That's actually happening to me, but I just know it's happening to me, and yet it's happening to everybody. So that's good. So this streak, and we had trouble with Google last. We'll try to get through it. If anybody missed at all that you got up again later, and I'll say something. I don't know. No covers are just jumping out at me a little. I'm going to go with Batman because Batman's on it. Got silhouette and these Gotham, this superhero with all these powers, looking up at Batman is really good because of what's our relationship. Okay, look, have you seen anybody?
Yes. Yeah, and I think it was the first person as well, because it was like up near the beginning of the cast. Ultron 32 guessed that Squirrel Girl would be on my top 3, and I sort of feel like that was a gimme, but he guessed it fair and square.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and count down your 3 then? Okay.
So my 3, and I don't think anybody will be surprised by any of these. Number 3 is Spider-Gwen. Number 10, because I love me some Gwen. Whether she's a spider or a pool, I love Gwen. And then number 2 is Power Rangers Pink, because I loved issue number 1. And with Cap and I, 3 weeks from actually getting to meet each other in person and going to Power Morphicon, I've got to get all my Power Rangers reading in, so got that Power Rangers Pink on my pull list. And number 1 is Squirrel Girl number 10, because we need to see the exciting conclusion of Mole Man is in love with Squirrel Girl, and it's this whole thing, and how he's like trying to like take her down to be underground with him. Poor Squirrel Girl. She's a hot ticket. Everybody wants to be with her, and I'm excited to see what she will do.
Well, I gotta say, whoever is writing that has to have seen the Tick episode with the Mole Men.
Maybe. I've seen like 2 Tick episodes ever, so I think I may have just ended our friendship.
No, that's okay. Hey, no, you've seen any Tick. That's exciting. That means you might be willing to watch more. Yeah, that is. There's a Mole King in an episode called The Tick versus the Mole Man, and he has almost that exact same plot.
Gotcha. See, because this is the 3rd issue with him in it now, like this one that's coming out this next week. And every time he's shown up, I just keep thinking of the Underminer from The Incredibles at the end of The Incredibles when he comes up from underground. I'm sure that's a reference to something.
That's almost certainly who he's parroting. The Incredibles are mostly parroting Fantastic Four, or inspired by. And he's a big Fantastic Four villain. So yeah. So if you were in the know with Fantastic Four and Marvel Comics, you saw the Underminer and you thought of Mole Man. But if you see the Mole Man for the first time, then you're thinking the Underminer.
Well, now we know my thought process.
yeah, absolutely. That would be your thought if you didn't know Fantastic Four. My I'm looking forward to. Ninja Turtles number 6. Nobody's gonna be, but we've got a big showdown with the Foot Clan as we've been dealing with And our Foot Clan right now the Foot Clan right now is being led by Splinter, and so the Foot Clan are technically kind of the good guys right now. So it's kind of interesting flipping that. And then I also had Power Rangers Pink on my list for obvious reasons. You and I put it number 1 both on our list. And for my media starts next week, and a lot of people have been really excited about that. So I'm interested to try that out. Also got to mention Rom number 1.
Oh yeah. That's like an old school character, right? From like the 70s or 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I never read him, but I sold a lot of him on eBay once.
Gotcha. So then you were like, who is this character? I must know more.
I don't know if I'll read this, but I also want to mention that Dark Horse loves to do the crossovers with Alien and Predator and whatever else they have the license to right then. And they're doing one with Predator, Judge Dredd's really funny to sandwich Judge Dredd in between those two things. That it's Predator versus Judge Dredd versus aliens. That's fantastic. Why not throw Terminator and RoboCop in there? Why not? So that's pretty funny. I don't know. I might try that out. Somebody was asking me what I think about the announcement for Batman animated series and Ninja Turtles. I talked about that the other night, but oh god, I can't wait. That looks absolutely fantastic. And why can't we just have a regular Batman animated series comic all the time? Why can't we have that? Why can't we have nice things?
I was just gonna say, because we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things. Naturally. Okay, so those are the books from last week. Those are the things we are most excited about for next week. And now, for the next 10 or 15 minutes, we will chat with you folks. Whatever you would like to hear us talk about in the world of comics and superheroes, feel free to leave your comments right now. Bruce Wayne says, actually, that sounds great. Terminator and RoboCop. Yeah, I mean, that's happened before. I think Terminator and RoboCop have both like crossed with each other in Dark Horse and maybe some of those other characters, and they really just like to take all those big 80s action testosterone projects and put them all together, sandwich them all together. The Predator and Batman series, all 3 of them are dynamite. I should review those at some point, but they were all really good. And one of them heavily featured the Huntress, and I really like the Huntress, so that was fun.
Bruce Wayne wants to know if there was a Gotham comic, would we read it?
Oh, yeah, just out of morbid curiosity, right?
Me too. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I keep stealing all your best lines. Sorry.
It's okay. No. I'm so, like, I don't know. I can't look away. It's like a car wreck, but like a fun car wreck. Because that's a thing.
It's a fun car. It's like when you get in a car wreck and you go, boy, I should steer away. But you go, no, this is kind of
fun.
The time.
No, it's like a car wreck where both of the cars were being driven by robots. And one of the cars had like slinkies in it. It was just a truck full of slinkies. And the other one was like a car full of bouncy balls. So like when it wrecks, you're like, that's a car wreck, and like it's sort of gruesome because there's like metal everywhere, but nobody died because it was just robots, and there's slinkies and bouncy balls everywhere. It doesn't make sense, but I'm looking at it and I can't look away. This has been a metaphor. You are welcome.
That was a good metaphor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all at the same time, it is changing your chemical makeup as you're watching it. I am not the same after an episode of that show.
No. Oh, it's
because
fun.
you think you have some sort of a grasp on how things, on what the world is and how life works and how stories are told, and then you watch that show, and if you enjoyed it, it especially completely breaks your whole everything. Like I don't know what I believe in anymore after watching that show. Well, like I have my hopes and dreams are all shattered, but I had a great time. Nero Cole wants to know. Yeah.
Sure, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna get more Gotham stuff. Let's move on. Away from the fun car.
Here's an idea. Let's move on. Yeah, let's walk away from that car. Lo and I just got in a hit and run. Nero Cole, Cap, would you ever do a Q&A? In fact, you're yearly we do a Q&A called the we do a Geeks Not Nerds thing called the multi-topic extravaganza, and now that we're doing Geeks Not Nerds live and with a panel, I don't know how we're going to handle that, but we need to do one this year. We haven't done one yet, and I guess it's going to basically just be open forum every week for a whole hour until we're done. I guess that's how we'll finally handle the. But that'll be fun, Lo. You'll finally get to be on a multi-topic extravaganza. That is my favorite thing we do every year. It's more fun than a Q&A because people give us very often topics that would make for good G&N topics, but you couldn't get a whole half hour or hour out of them, so you just answer them real quick and move on. It's a little different than a Q&A. Nice. Someone says that your fun car wreck metaphor is the best thing they've ever heard, and yes. I agree. It is pretty great.
I have one at life. Best thing ever heard.
Red Letter and Tilly's, you guys are even more casual about car wrecks than when Steve was when he got hit. But the amazing thing is,
about that.
But the amazing thing is, Lo and I didn't just get in a car wreck. That's what was impressive about that is I don't know that we could be like that, but Steve was just like, yeah, I'm walking around, I'm good. And then he just starts like talking about car wrecks.
About that. Oh my gosh.
Remember that?
That's a crazy kid right there.
Steve Baxi, that crazy kid.
I'm so full of quotes tonight.
I'm going to have to start writing them down. You're on a roll tonight, Lo.
Oh, I'm sure the people on the live chat will tweet them to me.
Yeah, and they'll probably make movie posters out of them. Mass Sci-Fi Fan, are you guys going to do a spoiler cast for Suicide Squad? Yes, most definitely. That will take the place of Geeks Not Nerds Live next Sunday night.
I'm quite excited for that movie.
That's the plan. I'm excited too. Lo, you're going to get me on voices, and then we're just both going to just be doing voices. And
I just like doing weird voices. I'm sorry.
Here comes the next question. Ultron 32, thoughts on the Justice League Dark trailer with Matt Ryan? I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. I forgot about that. I should have done that before the show. But I did hear about Matt Ryan, and that's definitely exciting, and I hope he gets a lot to do.
Hey, Kat, are you buying Sonic Mania?
What? I don't know anything about that. I just saw you write that, and I don't know. I didn't know about that, so I might. I've been getting some of the Sonic books for Jason, but nowhere there's like 3 or 4 monthlies for that book or for that character. So yeah, I haven't.
We were discussing Sonic earlier in the chat, and I was saying I'm not a fan of the current video games. How do you feel about those? Because I'm sure they more wanted to know what you thought about those rather than me, because you're a bigger fan of Sonic than I am.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before. We're just really inconsistent, super hit and miss. I haven't been ultra impressed with anything since Sonic Generations, really. And even that game, I felt like could have been quite a bit longer, and it had a little bit of issue with structural stuff with that, but whatever. The levels were great. I just didn't love that I had to go back and play different courses of things before I could open up the next section. I'm like, it's Sonic. I just want to go through the levels. I want to just go through the levels. I'm very simple with my Sonic games, but I'm such an old school Sonic guy. I like Sonic Colors a lot. I haven't tried anything that's come out in the last couple of years. So you had the Sonic Boom game people said was really bad, but I haven't played the one that was the other one on the Wii U, which is not in my brain right now. I heard really mixed things about that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not open to it.
Yeah, I made a sweeping generalization and called all of new Sonic games. What I said was an S word that I'm not allowed to say on Geekvolution, and they all determined that word was salad. Actually, it was Connor. Connor just determined that the word was salad.
Whoa, they're doing a 2D 16-bit game. That's what Sonic Mania is. I didn't even hear about it. Okay. See, video games were not on my radar for Comic-Con. I didn't expect a video game to get announced at Comic-Con. We just had E3 a couple of weeks ago.
I know, right? They're supposed to keep these things separate. Comics at one, video games at the other.
Especially if they're about the time.
Yeah.
But because E3 happened, and I don't know if anybody else was saying this. I didn't really talk to anybody about it. And we didn't bring this up when we did our E3 discussion, Lo, but I was thinking, wait, it's an anniversary. How did they not announce anything? Especially when they made a big deal out of the logo earlier this year.
Yep.
Okay, well, getting a new 16-bit Sonic game is really exciting, especially if they're going up. You described it, or is it just it's side-scrolling? But I mean, I'm totally cool with like 3D graphics and stuff. Like I said, Sonic Generations, the 2D stuff was just glorious. It's really, really pretty. But I want something closer to just the old school mechanics. I don't need but I don't need like the homing attack and all of that stuff that we got with Sonic 4. That wasn't the problem with Sonic 4. But that game was just I think, I don't know, you got stopped too often. Level design in that game.
I haven't played a lot of modern ones. I just know that I was a huge fan of Sonic, and then the Dreamcast happened, and I was sort of like, this is not the same. And I played a couple.
Okay, so you're as old school as I am then. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, well I know what Lo and I will be doing when I see Lo at in a couple weeks. I know what we'll be doing. We'll be playing Sonic.
I was a Sega person. Everyone else in the world, it seems like, was like a Nintendo person. But I was like hardcore Sega. Those were all of my systems, all the characters that I loved. And then they just kind of poofed away. And
I did not know that about you. And that is so exciting because I don't have a lot of people to talk Sonic about or to talk Sega about. And you know how big of a Sega guy I was growing up. And like, did you have a Saturn?
Yep. I had a Genesis, a Saturn, and a Dreamcast.
Holy crap! How amazing! Oh my god, that's so exciting! I have a kindred Sega spirit. Did you play?
Did I play what?
Did you play Knights?
No. I'm like 5 years younger than you, so I was playing a lot more like little kid stuff. Like my games that I played. I know
that, but you had a Saturn and it had no library. If you didn't have Knights, what did you play?
I don't remember. I mostly remember my Genesis. That's like the one that I played the most games on. The Aladdin
that's so exciting. Okay.
Sega Genesis Aladdin is my second favorite game of all time. I love that.
There were two, and it was the better one. And it's Lion King. Lo, I'm gonna have to fill in the gaps for you a little bit and catch you up on some old Sega stuff.
I don't have any of my old Sega stuff, so I'll need to like dig it out of my parents' basement if they still have it. I don't know.
Now I wish I was driving. I would just bring all my stuff with me. Nero Cole says, "Wait, Cap is in his 30s." Yes, I am in my 30s. I turned 32
he has two kids, guys.
And I'm gonna get to hang out with Curious Lo on my birthday.
Really? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. That's exciting. Oh yay! I just kind of squealed. I apologize. And Cap is now frozen. Oh, are you coming back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear me squeal about your birthday?
No, I did not hear that.
You said it was your birthday when you were going to be here, and I just sort of freaked out.
Come hang out with you. Yeah, I'm flying in on my birthday, and I'm going to get to hang out with Curious Lo.
That's so exciting. And that's the day we don't have anything planned. Oh, man. Now we're going to have to do something fun for your birthday. All right. I must plan now.
Can I have a cake?
Yes.
Yay, I get cake. I'm so excited. Oh
this is Comic Book Late Night, where we talk about Sega games and baking Cap a cake. We're so on topic. Oh, no. Cap froze again for a second. But you're back.
Oh, boy. Hello?
For a second, you were. Hi.
Oh, this is great. My favorite thing, this happens, people still stick around. It's like, you guys are so cool. It's so nice of you guys. Like, just the fact that people like us enough to stick here through these crazy technical difficulties. Lo, somebody's talking about the cake reviews again.
Heck yes, they are. It's going to happen someday. Hey, I finally have my computer all up and working again. Got my new hard drive. So I don't know that anybody super misses me, but if you do, I will hopefully be starting to make new videos again, because I haven't made anything since the Game of Thrones season finale.
Yeah, we need more Lo content. We need more solo Lo content. Lo content.
Because my hard drive crashed and I lost everything. And I was going to make the most epic blooper reel of me swearing at airplanes as they ruin my takes as I talk about Game of Thrones. And now it's all lost, but don't worry. I'm sure I will gain more footage of me swearing.
You'll have plenty of reasons. And
yeah, it'll happen again.
This is an interesting question that I never would have expected someone to ask. Bruce Wayne, what is your favorite Power Rangers couple? And mine is probably not what a lot of other people's are. And of course, I'm more of a Mighty Morphin person than anything. But I'm gonna have to go with Kat and Tommy. I like Kat, and I think I might like Kat as much or more than Kimberly. And I always thought that was just a super cute couple, and that's what I'm gonna say. It's Kat and Tommy.
People are making low puns in the comments, and I quite appreciate them.
It occurred to me earlier today that if I say hi-low, I'm making a contradictory statement.
Or you're just saying hello to me. Hello to me.
That's true. That's true.
You know what?
I'm like, hi-low, and then it's a contradictory statement.
You know, every time somebody types lol, but they capitalize the first L, I always read it as low first and an exclamation mark. And so I'm always like, oh, people are talking to me, but then they aren't.
See, why did you have to pick a name that is part of a bazillion words?
Ask my friends. They're the ones that started calling me low. I did not choose the low life. The low life chose me.
The low life? I never knew where it came from. I didn't know that. I mean, like, your name is even part of my name. It's ridiculous how many things.
Oh, yeah. And when people say TCL, like for like the curious low, and then people will also say CL, and like I'm always like, wait, who are they talking to? Okay, they're talking about something I don't know about. It's not to me for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, somebody was also asking, Matt Sci-Fi fan wanted to know if I was still keeping up with Steven Universe. I need to catch back up on that. And there are just lots of shows that I haven't been. Real Manos, Captain Logan. Yeah, hi Manos. I need to catch back up on that, and I would love to do that and talk about that with Manos at some point, because Manos got me on that show and I enjoyed it a lot. And I know that's Manos' favorite thing, but I'm behind on all the cartoons. I haven't been watching Powerpuff Girls either, and I haven't been reviewing that. I lost interest in it a little bit. I wasn't in love with it after the last couple episodes I watched, but I still liked it enough to keep going. I just need to catch back up on it. So anyway, well, I think it is time now to bid everybody farewell. So thanks a whole bunch for watching. Sure appreciate it. Lo and I will be with you again next Monday night at 10 p.m. now for Comic Late Night, and we're going to talk about all the other cool stuff that we'll be reading this week. Thanks for being here with us live or after the fact. We sure appreciate everybody, and we'll see you again next time. Oh, also, folks have been asking me about Killing Joke. Eric and I just did a review of that earlier. We decided we elected not to broadcast it live, mostly because of what's been going on like this. So we'll have that up for you at least by tomorrow. I'm gonna get it rendered and start posting it just right after this show. And a whopping hour and a half we talked about that movie. So look forward to that. And in the meantime, I was once again Captain Logan, and this was The Curious Low.
Good night, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody. Thanks for being here.